Go to bigheadsmedia.com for more great podcasts.
Welcome to Dig on America, where we speak truth to power. Every week, we give you the dig on how American history, policies, and media created the social and political issues we face today. DOA is independent media supported by listeners, but they'll tell you we're just fake news, deep state propaganda, funded by George Soros, the Clinton Foundation, BLM Marxists, and
Frank Ocean,
Truth Social,
and whoever Mikey says. Welcome everyone. Dig on America. We're going to talk about fentanyl. This show. So welcome into the chat. Real quick comment from the chat here. Bill says, Echoplex Media, who we like. Dave is an old friend of mine. Shows the jerks talking all the time, adding their commentary makes all the difference, and it's effective. See, Bill, we do that on the Friday show. This is not that show, though, brother. So we're not going to do the same thing on every show. But on the Friday show, we will definitely, Lindsay and I will definitely be doing that a little bit. And
we do it on Speaking from the Center. Every week I bring up Truth Social and I try to get banned.
And soon you will get the whole bin network banned, and then the takeover will begin.
Well, the whole thing is like Tim saw a TikTok of somebody getting banned in like 60 seconds, and Tim's like, I could beat that. So he's like, he's been posting nothing but like super progressive things on there or ridiculous conspiracy things to see if the other crazies will bite. Like the Hurricane Ian was an inside job. Will the crazies agree with that? Let's see.
For the most part, they do.
Yep.
It's been 2 months. I haven't been banned yet.
Yeah, he's gaining followers, which is the worrying part.
Yeah, that's the scary part.
Are all of their monikers or their handles like MAGA Mike or Patriot Paul?
Yeah, one of them's like Stormy Patriot Joe. I'm like, holy shit, dude.
Stormy Daniels.
You gotta
Joe Biden.
No, you know who those guys are, right?
Like from yeah.
That's a militia group. You're aware of them, Dutch?
I am aware of them.
Okay, they're one of the cray-crays.
All right, so guys,
what?
My 8th grade social studies teacher,
Mr. Humble,
taught me things that turns out after doing Tim's research for him.
Mr. Humble. Sorry, I was late on that.
Oh. I was like,
wasn't always the whole story. So today we're going to talk about fentanyl. So if you've been living under
to the left-hand side,
yeah, if you've been living under a rock, you may not know that fentanyl is in the news. And it should be in the news, but it's how it's in the news that we're going to talk about. So, I did reach out to Lindsay, my co-host on Fridays, is a healthcare worker. She's on a family trip right now, so she can't be here tonight or tomorrow for that matter, or Friday. I mean, so I did reach out to her for her opinion, and she sent me some stuff to read, and I will do that. So we do have a little bit of expert analysis from a healthcare professional on this. But I'm going to share my screen here.
Before we get started, I have a correction already.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it's fentanyl.
I mispronounce things. It's my thing.
I'm pretty sure. I'm double checking the pronunciation.
All right. So
yeah, it's nil.
That's a lot of tabs you got open there.
Jesus, yeah, I got a lot. I have a lot of tabs open because I didn't write anything today.
I'll write it and we'll go live.
Yeah, this is more or less,
and we'll do it live.
This is more or less just looking at some different things. So I'm going to start here with here
we go.
This is from the American Addiction Centers. Okay, so I'm gonna read a little bit from this. The article is called fentanyl. Fentanyl, fentanyl, right?
Fentanyl.
Yeah.
So give me 2 seconds here, Dutch. I want you to hit hide so I don't see your stop sharing button, which is driving me insane.
All right.
Thank you so much. And then also, pro tip: hit F11 on your keyboard.
F11.
I thought it only went up to F10.
How do I hit F11? Do I hit Control
There's
or
a
Shift?
button. It
You
says
should just
F11.
Just hit the button.
I got a brand new computer, so all right.
So now
How do I get the other tabs?
You're on full screen. You just hit F11 and it goes back. Calm down, man. I would never leave you astray.
But I don't know how to get to the other tabs now. You're gonna have to do more work.
You just hey, look, you just hit F11 again, and it goes to the regular one. This is just full screen and looks nicer for us to read. Jeez,
okay,
I'm on your side. I
got you. I didn't know what you. It surprised me.
Just yelled at me.
No one's yelling at me. This is an article from the American Addiction Centers, and so I'm not talking the whole time. Tim, why don't you read this entire page?
No.
Here, read this article.
But Dutch, I will yes and you and read some of it. Heroin and fentanyl are both opioid drugs that bind to opioid receptors in the brain, reducing pain sensations and elevating pleasure and relaxation. Both are extremely potent, fast-acting, and can be lethal in as little as one dose. Heroin, as it is commonly known, is derived from morphine, which is a natural substance.
Tim, you're a little hot. You're a little hot.
I'm a little hot. Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Which is a natural substance that is removed from the seed of the opium poppy plant. Heroin is
good old poppies.
Delicious poppy seed bagels.
Poppy chulo.
Heroin is distributed as a white or brown powder or as a black tacky substance known as black tar heroin. It is classified as an illegal drug with no accepted medicinal uses in the United States. It is considered a Schedule I controlled substance by the DEA, or the Drug Enforcement Administration, and it is typically injected, smoked, or snorted when abused.
Now, let me tell you something. I watched a lot of Breaking Bad. They laughed at black tar heroin when it came to meth. And I was like, wow, never trying meth. That's some bullshit. It's some bullshit black tar heroin. Like, that fucking weak shit out here. I was like, that's weak shit? Oh, no meth for me. Not even once.
We in some trouble here, Lucy.
No,
all right, so fentanyl is a synthetic man-made opioid that is similar to morphine. However, the National Institute on Drug Abuse warns it is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. The chemical structure of fentanyl is slightly different from that of heroin. Fentanyl was originally synthesized as a powerful analgesic, which is a pain reliever.
Analgesic.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, analgesic.
Really?
Yeah.
I could have swore I've heard that word on commercials as analgesic.
No, you haven't.
Anyway, ANAL, analgesic, right? GESIC, which is a pain reliever. We'll use the word pain reliever, and is still used medically. I get to pronounce things on my own fucking show, okay? Which
and
means
I get to say what I want, which is that
no, you don't. You don't get to make fun of the poor reader.
People are trying to help. You have to take help without being mad.
And it is opioid. Fentanyl is still used medically to treat severe pain following surgery or for chronic pain in people who are opioid tolerant, which means that other painkillers aren't as effective. Unlike heroin, fentanyl does have some accepted medicinal uses, so it is classified as a Schedule II controlled substance by the DEA. Schedule II drugs still have a very high potential for abuse and addiction, despite their specific medical uses. Couple last quick things here. It is diverted from, what is that word? Licit?
Derived.
No, that's not derived. DIVERTED does not spell derived.
I think there's typos.
Fentanyl
Yeah.
is diverted from licit uses for abuse, and it is also manufactured in clandestine laboratories. I love that word.
It is.
It's cheaper and easier to obtain than heroin and is often used as a cutting agent for it. It can be absorbed through the skin and be lethal in very small doses, as little as 0.25 milligrams per CNN. Comes in lozenges, buccal, buccal, whatever the fuck that is, buccal, and
This is not your day, man. I can't help.
it's
I'm
a
glad-
medical paper. I don't know these fucking terms.
I'm glad I read the first 2 paragraphs. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I took the hard one. Sublingual
pronounced
tablets.
Beckel.
Is that like what you put up your? No, that's something else.
The size of the molars.
Sublingual tablets, nasal or oral sprays, injected and in a transdermal patch form. When abused, fentanyl patches may be sucked on, chewed, inserted into the body, or the gel scraped off patches and injected. It can be snorted, smoked, crushed, or injected, made into pills to look like other prescription opioid medications like Norco, or in powder form. So this is a recap here, and then it talks about addiction. So let's talk about that first. If you are suffering from addiction, okay, there is a good number on this screen. If you feel that you have tuned into this show because you have an addiction issue, or you have questions about stuff like this, we are not the fucking experts here. Call the experts, 888-968-8449. That is for the American Addiction Centers. You have value. You can get help. Call and get help. Again, 888-968-8449 for the American Addiction Center. So, all right. So I wanted to, all right, now I got to hit this fucking 11 again. Where's 11?
That's after 10.
Yeah, but I don't have my glasses. This computer, the F buttons are all super tiny. So there was a press release, and it's nice here because Big Haas's shirt showed up on the screen. It's always nice. DEA, this is where things have started to take a head the last few days. The DEA sounds alarm over fake pills containing fentanyl driving overdose deaths. So I don't know if they have the picture in this article, but I'll tell you what I'll do here is if I just Google fentanyl, I want you guys to see this picture. Because the first pictures that pop up are these, right? These candy looking pictures. So this is part of what the narrative is around right now, is that fentanyl is now coming in multicolored tablets, right? So that's where this whole politicization of this is coming from. And this is why I felt like it's worth talking about, because it's very reminiscent of like the Staples and the candy type of thing to me. My school district sent out a warning about this, talking about what the DEA had said. So I'm going to read this article from KTLA. This is reporting on on what the DEA had talked about. So this from KTLA 75 in Los Angeles, locally here. An increasing number of fake prescription pills that contain potentially deadly fentanyl are helping drive overdose deaths to record levels in the United States, including some now manufactured in rainbow colors designed to look like candy, federal officials said Tuesday. DEA agents are working to crack down on violent drug cartels in Mexico believed to be trafficking these to the U.S., said Merrick Garland. Between May and September, the DEA and local cops around the country seized more than 10 million pills and hundreds of pounds of powder. And then it talks about how powerful it is. There's a quote here. It says, I read too many reports on too many cases, including too many young people who ended up dying after taking just one pill laced with fentanyl, often disguised as something else, Garland said. First reported in February, the rainbow pills have been seized in 21 states. It is more commonly, so more commonly than the rainbow colors, distinguished as like made to look like a different pill, like oxycodone or a prescription drug. The rainbow pills are on the increase, but again, it's saying that those are still a small minority. And then this person here says, we believe it is being marketed and aimed at young people. So Chuck Schumer chimed in on this as well, the Democrat majority leader, Senate majority leader, who's a Democrat, and raised awareness for this as well. So I have no problem with the raising awareness. I think it's very good to raise awareness about this. But this is the part where I think it's super important to talk about this, because if you look at the way that that article was written, okay, here is an article from Rolling Stone, which I think was very good. No, I don't want to subscribe. I'm sorry. And I know I'm talking a lot here, so you guys can certainly pause me if you want to. But these next couple articles will really set the stage. I'm just going to skim through this. This from Rolling Stone.
You're not giving us a good chunk of meat to talk about. You're just kind of reading it to us. What would you like what would you like to discuss first?
All right, we'll get to that in a second.
Then don't ask
the truth about rainbow fentanyl. This from Rolling Stone. It was never meant for kids. It's not aimed at their Halloween basket, but it does represent a real threat for casual drug users. They talk about the DEA release on this. And then this gentleman, can I cite the person here? McDaniel. Is that Haas joining in? Republican National Committee Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel. What's up, Haas? Said every mom in the country is worried that their children will get a hold of rainbow-colored fentanyl. McDaniels is referring to an August 30th release from the DEA warning parents about an alarming emerging trend of rainbow-colored fentanyl pills targeted towards children. Talks about how they come in bright colors. And then what Rolling Stone here says is this comes from the same drug administration famous for annually warning parents about drugs and marijuana-laced snack foods hidden in Halloween candy, an urban legend that is debunked every year. So then they say, how legit is this? Yes.
For everybody who thinks that I'm going to take my $40 for 10 THC gummies and give them to your child as a joke, you must think I'm made out of money. Do you know how expensive it would be to get trick-or-treaters high on edibles? You know how expensive edibles are? You think that fucking $9.99 bag of candy is expensive? That's no one has $1 million laying around to get your kids high for Halloween. Sorry, it's not. No one makes that much money to just literally throw it away.
Yeah, and that's kind of what this Rolling Stone article says. Again, I'm going to paraphrase here a little bit. Or I'm not going to paraphrase. I'm going to cherry pick from this article a little bit because I don't want to read the whole thing and bore people. Mariah Francis, a resource associate with the National Harm Reduction Coalition, tells Rolling Stone that colored pill production is not new. It's a way for illicit manufacturers to identify goods and make them mimic authentic pharmaceutical versions. All these pills are stamped that the DEA showed the picture of, and they're readily identifiable as pills, making it hard to believe children are mistaking them for candy. The idea that because the pills are colorful means that cartels must be trying to force children to try fentanyl or ply children or their Halloween candy is markedly ridiculous, this woman says to Rolling Stone. People just make creative colors, and honestly, there's no reason for it. It's been happening for 60 years. We saw it with MDMA. We see it in club drugs, and it's kind of embarrassing because the DEA is just really, really late to the party. Francis adds the idea that cartels want to make children to mistake their pills for candy is utterly divorced from reality, and instead points to the very nature of fentanyl as driven by profits, something that doesn't mesh with children who usually lack disposable income. Okay. So, and if you juxtapose this, guys, with the Fox article, Former DEA official warns parents after fentanyl found disguised in candy packaging. It's a mass poisoning. 15,000 pills disguised as candy were seized in Connecticut ahead of Halloween.
Well,
Connecticut?
What, in Connecticut?
Yeah.
That's where Ken Kniff is from.
So, since I've been
what
reading a
town?
lot, Haas is new. So Haas is new. He can. Haas, you want to do me a favor, brother? You're good at this.
Yes.
Put on a voice and read this. What you can see on the screen here. I'll make it.
Wait,
blue
where you
for
want me? You want me to start at Derek Maltz?
Start there. Yeah, this is from the Fox
All right.
News article.
F11.
Derek Maltz, former DEA Special Operations Director, warned parents to educate themselves.
Do you have to laugh every
on
time he talks, Mikey?
the
My God.
nationwide
It's funny.
on the nationwide fentanyl crisis.
Don't make him laugh, Haas. Just do it in your normal voice. We gotta. He can't. Mikey is unable to cage his emotions. When it comes.
I'm a happy guy. What can I say?
After
Jesus.
officials seized 15,000 pills disguised as candy in Connecticut, with Halloween just weeks away, the DNA is warning parents the deadly rainbow-colored LGBTQIA+ pills may be marketed to children. The recent seizure in Connecticut found the drug stashed in Skittles and Nerds packaging. Quote.
Pause, sir.
Yes.
Maybe perhaps that's why they were meant to look like candy, because they were hidden in candy.
So that the cops wouldn't see that you had pills.
Right. Because you had to sneak them past the cops, so they made it look like candy.
It's the goddamn cops.
It was the fucking package had Skittles with a Z on the end.
Right.
It's like, wait a minute. Open it up. You sons of bitches. He said,
It said Skittles to nil.
Get to know.
Quote, we're seeing an unprecedented amount of kids dying as young as 13 years old. Where is the link to said statistic? Maltz said on Fox and Friends Tuesday. Quote, continued quote, and we know now that the screen is going to time out and we're going to change the...
You're gonna just switch the screen on him, Dutch?
Oh, no, that was me. I didn't know that I did that. Sorry, my bad.
Boo! Boo!
But I have the actual accusation of the when you're done with that. I got the actual thing
Go back
from the Justice Department.
So it says, and we know now, the DA says that 40% of the pills contain a potentially lethal dose of fentanyl.
Hold on. Pause. Go back up.
Now, go back up.
Hold on.
Go
Enhance.
up.
Go down a little bit.
Down
Go
to the picture. Yes.
This is
Do those look like Skittles?
No, this is Cap. Ain't no blue Skittles in the red package.
Right.
That's Cap. That's Cap.
Anybody looking at these knows those aren't Skittles.
Them don't look like Skittles.
Where's the S?
Those don't look like Skittles.
And they don't look like Nerds either.
They not nowhere near small enough to be no nerd. And
Okay,
they the wrong
Wait a
shape.
minute. Y'all trying to tell me that all of those pills were in those containers?
Right.
Well, obviously not, because they're not. Well, actually, they might have. But the thing is, and this is and in this article, it says, it's flooding. You can see right here. It's deadly fentanyl. It's flooding our streets like never before, and they say it's a mass poisoning. Okay.
Oh, like
so.
crack.
Now he's right. Stay away from it because it's poison. It's really dangerous. He said, okay, you're absolutely right about that. It is dangerous, and you should take that advice. You should definitely stay away from fentanyl. However, what Fox is trying to do here is they are trying to paint a picture that the Biden administration is allowing something to happen because of their open border policy, which they don't have. And that you know that kids are under attack. So if you watch this, look, the sweet little white kid is in trouble.
The children.
Where was all of this?
Save the children
during the crack epidemic.
You know where it was.
Where was it?
You know where it was.
Look right here. Look at this. This is not a drug issue. It's a mass poisoning, he said. We are losing a future generation, 300 a day. Now, first of all, if that statistic is true, It's a
Right. Where's it
terrible
at?
statistic, right? Okay, now I looked some of this stuff up. And remember, I can't see you guys. I can only see what's on my screen here.
Good.
because
We don't
of
want to look at you
the way
neither.
that we have it. But so since 2000, more than 1 million people in the United States have died of drug overdoses. In general, just drug overdoses, okay? More than 1 million people since 2000. So that article that I just showed you guys from Fox, I didn't play the video because there was music on the background, but Jeannie Pirro was on there talking about
Janine
that this was a mass poisoning and that we're losing one child, or she said we're losing someone every 9 minutes. Now, I couldn't back up that statistic, but I found my own statistic, and I'm going to talk to you about how fucking politicized this is. Okay. So 1 million people since the year 2000, guys, not all of which were fentanyl, and the majority of which were opioids. So I think the percentage was about 70% of overdoses in the United States on drugs in general are opioids. And of those opioids, some are fentanyl. Okay. Fentanyl and other synthetics opioids have been driving the crisis in recent years. There is obviously supply coming from Mexico. That is true. Okay. So
Who
the
runs,
amount of people, hold on real quick, Mikey. The amount of people who died from a drug overdose from opioids, not just fentanyl, opioids in general, in 2019, the last year that the statistics are available, was 70,000. If you divide that by the amount of of minutes in a day, we lost about 7.1 person about every 7.35 minutes. So that's about 7 minutes and 20 seconds ballpark. Okay. During COVID, we lost 1.5 million between March of 2020 and today. And obviously it's way down now. I did the math on that. I divided out all the hours, guys. We lost someone every 1 minute and 15 seconds. And they played that down.
Pause. I really, as a person who does statistics and has studied the art of statistics, I really hate when people say this number of things happen a minute because of the average of a statistical thing. It is the worst fear mongering when you say to someone, a person has died every 9 minutes from fentanyl or opioids or whatever, because that is not the reality. And it's just an averaging out of deaths. And it's a morbid fear-mongering. It's morbid fear-mongering nonsense.
Did we just get raided? Thank you for HR for the raid.
Thanks, HR.
It is usually a distortion of facts, and it is disingenuous.
I agree with that. And like, again, we're not minimizing this, right? This is not the point.
I have one thing to add real quick.
Please do.
In 2020, on average, 152 people voted a day.
Yeah.
152 people every day. No. 152 people every hour voted.
Wow, there must have been like
every day someone was voting.
A constant stream of people vote, like
all voting for Tim Bristol.
Or it all happened at once. Like that statistic doesn't really tell you anything.
Right. And like the day that Biden took office, Trump's last day in office, January 20th, 2021.
What a great day that
was the week of the highest deaths of COVID. It was something like 4,100 people per day during that week, right?
Biden killed those people.
But like, do the math on that one, Tim. Do the math on that. What is it? 4,000 times 7 divided by the hours in 7 days. You got that one. It's going to be something like 7 seconds, right? So but again, and like you see a comment in the chat saying the same thing. Oh, it was all miscategorized, right? So but the political posturing of this fentanyl thing is crazy. Like we saw the way that the crack epidemic was treated. And Haas, you probably can go ahead and speak on that. How was the crack epidemic treated?
Yeah,
in the United States?
you're a crackhead. Why do you say it like that?
Hey, I'm a reformed crackhead.
He's posted on it, right? No, Haas has never done a drug in his fucking life. He's never
This is true.
experienced the blitz.
Wait.
Haas didn't even smoke weed yet.
But he has posted on this on numerous times. Okay, alcohol is technically a drug.
Are you saying those guns are all natural? Is that what's going on? Bam.
That's right, baby.
Farm
Natty.
raised, grass fed.
Okay.
The Wagyu
as far as my crack experience goes, I'm crack adjacent. Like I grew up on what they call the low end of Chicago, 44th and Stewart, right? And in the early to mid 80s, it was not uncommon to see hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of crack vials on my walk towards school and home. And the resultant violence from the selling of crack led to bodies being dumped in a lot very near to my house across the street. And they would bring the truck out there and sweep for bodies periodically every month. And what was great was the public, white folks, and the government criminalized it and wanted to punish everyone from the dealers to the users to everybody that would be around it. And juxtapose that to now out in Barrington and Winnetka when Betty Sue gets a hold of some opioids, or Kyle gets a hold of some opioids, and now it's a health issue, and it's an addiction issue, and we should be treating these people and providing them support. But when it was Tyrone and Jaquinda and Jose and
Lil Man,
right, then nobody put a gun to their head and told them to use these drugs. They should be jailed. Nobody put a gun to their head, but those opioids, guess what? They're not all being prescription filled. Some of these people are buying these opioids from dealers, and nobody seems to want to go after them. And also the biggest dealers happen to have LLCs and S corps and things like that push these drugs, and nobody seems to want to go after them either.
It just seems very convenient to me. Again, the selective rage, and now it's an epidemic. Like I have some friends who have OD'd and like 20. You know what I mean? Like not even old yet. Like not even wise enough to know.
Someone very close to me should be dead right now because they had 2% of their heart left due to their heroin addiction. And they should be dead, but praise God they're not. And I'm not going to name names, but they know I love them.
And
well, it's good. Good that they're alive, I should say.
And it's funny because, like, again, everybody went after the black community and we locked everybody up, and then why don't y'all have fathers? Like, because you flooded the hood with fucking cheap, strongest drug ever, and people got hooked on it, and it totally destroyed us. That's all fine and dandy. American government, are you done pissing off the cartel? This is a hit. They've been hitting y'all. Every time y'all bump shit up on them, they bump shit up on y'all. And these drugs that we keep getting from the cartel, they're killing people. Are they really? The cartel is killing Americans. Are they really? Yeah, because you're not letting them. You fucking up the cartel gang. They sending out kill bags, and y'all the ones taking it like shit is sweet. And I'll pay my extra tax to have my weed grown here in the States. I need somebody who don't have an
It's
agenda.
like you don't understand that. Would the cartel rather kill their customers or have them continue to be repeat customers?
Right.
But America,
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm
America,
saying.
But America needs to be taught a lesson as far as the cartel is
Oh
concerned.
no, I'm
So
agreeing with you.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm just going on with it. But like y'all act like buying drugs from cartel affiliated people. Y'all act like the cartel has our best interest in mind.
Right.
They don't give a damn about y'all. They already made the money. They don't need y'all for money. They done bought Mexico. What the fuck they need y'all for? So keep buying stuff. Well, if things weren't illegal in the States, the cartel wouldn't have no money in the first place. If you let everybody grow their own weed, the cartel wouldn't have had no money since the 80s. But you decided to make everything illegal, drive everything underground, and now you've given the cartel this power over a crisis that you are helpless to stop.
So let me get this one quick thing out of the way real quick here, so I can turn the share screen off. I'm going to add this back in and go back to this article on Fox News here. And this isn't just Fox, right? It's probably not even fair for me to blame this all on Fox, because the NBC reporting is not that much less tabloidy. Okay. It's just that the Fox stuff is overwhelmingly tabloidy. As you can see here, Jeannie Pirro with "It's a mass poisoning" up on her screen. And again, we're not minimizing this, right? But what Fox and Friends had said here, it's rather potent. They quote what Chuck Schumer said about, that this, and Chuck Schumer's quote was, "This is really worrisome and dangerous." And he's right. And Jeannie Pirro said, you guys will love this, "I'm happy he's talking about it," co-host Jeannie Pirro said of Schumer. "But shouldn't he be sounding the alarm with the White House? Shouldn't the White House be talking about the fact that this is happening? Or would it be too dangerous?"
If only
Absolutely.
If only they hadn't talked about it for like fucking 6, 7, 37 times.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Brian Kilmeade replied. His quote, "If you really cared," he's talking about the White House, "you would actually be saying, quote, China to cartel, across the border, into your bedroom, into your living room, into your dorm room. This is what they're talking about Biden, would say if he really cared. This is not hard." Now, according to the DEA, Mexican cartels are primarily responsible for the fentanyl, which contains chemicals bought in China from entering the United States.
How did
So
I know
he
that?
said it's not
without reading the
necessarily
article?
false. But Jesse Waters then floated this idea, this gem. "Launch a cyber attack against China. That's what I would do," he said, before noting that fentanyl can be more lucrative than other drugs and can be hard to detect. From there, Pirro brought the discussion to how fentanyl would affect trick-or-treating and other Halloween gatherings with candy involved. Young children
Pause. Fentanyl is still not free, okay? No one is giving out, like, these drugs are not cheap. I just want
right, and like you're going to kill the child on.
No one's giving out $50 pills to a child.
Yeah, and they're not that much, but even if it was $1 a pill, they're not going to give out $1 pill to each person to hundreds of trick-or-treaters. Which for a little kid, one pill would kill that child. The entire narrative that they're trying to set here is that they're trying to get them addicted. You don't addict someone by killing them. Jeannie Pirro then says young children are now going to go out to trick or treat. I mean, basically, parents have a decision to make, Jeannie says. You don't let your kids get that candy. It doesn't mean the person giving it out is intending to harm. You throw away the nerds and sweethearts, Waters proposed. And lastly, Dana Perino suggested, you decide there's not going to be a massive Halloween parading. There's going to be small groups with our families that we know. We're going to do this in our backyard and in our basement. Doesn't that sound familiar?
A gram of fentanyl is $200 on the street.
Doesn't everyone go through their kids' candy before they allow them to eat the candy?
Sure.
Big House, you do that. Big House, you do that for a different reason. Big House, you do that so you can pick out your favorite shit. Don't act like you don't.
Hey,
that's true
shut
too.
the fuck up,
Things, two things can be
Mind
true
your
at once.
business. Mind
Now,
your business.
if we're secreting fentanyl pills in Skittles bags, wouldn't there be a tape or something on that Skittles bag in the
They've got a
trick-or-treat bag?
they've got a heat resealer in their basement.
Oh, and I wouldn't be able to tell that. Oh man, look at this. It's like there's a rip here, and now this is really smooth. Where we all know that the Skittles has a little crinkle in it when it's a natural bag.
Look, here's a quick fact for you guys.
How come all the parents aren't ODing from eating the Christmas or the Halloween
exactly.
Because,
Like,
the parents,
like kids are the only ones eating the Skittles.
Right.
I love Skittles. I ate half a bag of
know
Skittles yesterday.
You guys know that when, like, I grew up in the 80s, right? Haas grew up in the 80s. So we went through the churches telling us, and obviously the churches were really against the Halloween because it's a satanic holiday, they said. So of course they were happy to rail on Halloween to begin with. But the whole like staples in the apples and staples in the candy and poison in the candy was really, really rampant in the 1980s, right? And
it was razor blades for us.
Razor blades in the apples is
needles.
what it was, right?
It was needles. They put needles in
right.
the...
You know
Needles
that
in the
almost
Tootsie
every
Roll.
single case of a child being poisoned by Halloween candy, that child was poisoned by their own family. In like all but 2 cases in history of Halloween candy. Like there was almost every single child that died from that died because they were poisoned by their own fucking family.
It is and has always been a fear tactic by the right to scare people.
And that doesn't mean don't check the candy, right? You want to check. I'll check the candy just to make sure that the bag's not open, that a bug didn't crawl on it, that it doesn't have peanuts in it. If you have a peanut allergy, of course you want to look through the candy, right? You don't know what people are capable of. It's a good idea to check out the candy. What's not a good idea is to provoke fear.
Yeah.
And then they're saying, oh, the Biden administration, literally, Dana Perino said the Biden administration should think about canceling Halloween and that people should just do it in their backyards this year. What did people do what did people say on the right wing when Biden said, stay in your house during COVID? They lost their shit. You know what Biden should do? He should cancel Halloween this year and say, you know what, due to fentanyl, we're going to cancel Halloween this year. No trick-or-treating will be allowed. I guarantee you right-wingers will be out in droves trick-or-treating. How dare you try to infringe on my freedoms? Because they'll just do the opposite. And it's
like that. They don't
crazy.
do what they don't do what they tell other people do. They'll sit there and say, yes, we should cancel trick-or-treating. But in my neighborhood, yeah, we will be handing out candy and the kids are dressing up and we will be going out. But
go to your church
general,
and get the candy because it's safe, right? Go to your church where no pastor's ever hurt a kid. Go to your church. And my last little point on this, and I'll let you guys just talk as much as you want or as little as you want about this. My last point on this is that
see you guys.
It's very convenient that because first of all, fentanyl affects the communities of color at a highly disproportionate rate than it does white communities. You never hear that. I had to dig that fact up. And when I found it was true, I was like, why does no one report this?
Where's the link at?
But I'll pull it up for you. But I think I closed that screen out already, but I'll pull it up before we go off. The last thing I was going to say was that I kind of lost my train of thought there. I apologize. That when you had the crack epidemic, they punished the drug user. When you had the weed, and weed wasn't really an epidemic, but when they were cracking down on weed and heroin and all these things, they always punished the user. So if you got caught with, a gram of weed or whatever, you went to jail. You got either a ticket if it was a tiny little amount like a joint at the low end, depending on the state, or if it was a little bit more, you got a prison sentence. Now they have conveniently, because this particular drug is more widespread in who it's targeted at. It's not just targeted at one community. It's targeted at multiple, at the entire broad spectrum of the U.S. And most people who are using this look like me, then now you are seeing a blatant effort to make sure that they point the finger at the Mexican cartels and not at the user. Let's help the user, which they should do, by the way. This is the right thing to do. But it's also very convenient, the timing of this. Because now they want to say, well, we'll help the user instead of throw the user in jail. And we'll point the finger at the dealer and just like make sure that we mention that they're from China and that it comes from China and it's made in Mexico. Let's make sure that we mention that. And I find it to be very, very, very damaging because it just piles on the narrative that dark skin color bad.
Well, I think the larger zoomed out thing for me on this is if you don't take care of your neighbors, then bad people will take over your neighbor's country, and then now you have to deal with your opioid epidemic. If you helped the Mexican people stand up against the cartel instead of funding them and making drugs illegal in this country to give them so much money that the Mexican government is just literally bought and paid for, but the people don't have power half the time. There's rolling brownouts, food worries. Everyone's just trying to get to like the coastal cities or somewhere where there's like a resort. Like to live, it shouldn't be that way. Mexico has one of the most economically successful countries ever just up the border, but they're being held out. So if we were better neighbors, they wouldn't have this problem. And also, you're 100% wrong on those facts.
Fuck them brown folks.
You're 100% wrong. It doesn't affect black people more.
I'm going to pull it up. I have it. I said opioids, not fentanyl. So hold on one second.
Based on my recent experience, they are very reticent to give black people opioids.
Yeah. So here we go. Opioid overdose deaths by race and ethnicity. So if you look at Rat Schmel in the United States, 47,304 in 2020, and for Black non-Hispanic, 11,574. So not even, we're at like a quarter.
Yeah, but that shows the statistic there because the black community is not a quarter of the community of the population. So the percentage is higher for that community. So that actually proves that data.
That's not what you said.
I said it is more disproportionate in the black community in communities of color than it is in the white community.
Oh, it's pretty proportionate because that's about the populations.
So the I closed out the page, so I'm trying to find it here. By 2019, rates of cocaine and opioid mortality in Black America. This is from overdose deaths caused by. This is from a website called. I'll pull it up for you guys so you can see it. So I'm not just.
Please finish one of your sentences before you start the next one.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I will start two sentences at the same time.
Don't get mad if I zone out after the third or fourth one.
Rates of cocaine and opioid mortality in Black Americans were considerably higher in 47 states than among white Americans. In the South, deaths from cocaine and opioids grew 26% per year in Black people.
Cocaine and opioids.
27% per year in Hispanic people and 12% per year in non-Hispanic white people. I mean, there's a lot of articles on this. Actually, this is in Africa, so that's probably not relevant to this show.
Talk about the whole diaspora.
Since the late 1990s, deaths from opioid overdoses in the U.S. have climbed. In 2019, nearly 50. Actually, I saw 70,000 in a different article. This article says 50,000. In a new study, researchers led by Dr. Mark, holy shit, La Rochelle from Boston Medical Center and Boston University looked at racial disparities in recent opioid overdose deaths. They focus on 4 states. I'm just looking for what the thesis is here. Overall, between 2018 and 2019, the opioid overdose death rate remained relative flat in the community studied. For both years, it was around 39 deaths per 100,000. But when broken down by race, there were disparities. From 2018 to 19, the opioid death rate among Black people increased by 38%. And declined, right here, 18% for white people. This suggests that Black people did not benefit equally from prevention and treatment efforts during the years studied.
You don't say.
What do you know? Really?
Shocker.
Wow.
So
I have information to bring
Yes,
up.
bring it
Please
up.
Bring it, oh bearded one.
So
You won't do it.
for the poison candy thing, the fear mongering behind that. It has only ever happened twice, confirmed twice in America in the 1970s.
Hell yeah.
The first time a child was killed by trick-or-treat candy that was given to them by a relative to poison them.
Bum, bum,
What do they call
bum.
that? Munchausen syndrome?
The second one was a dentist who gave out laxative-filled candies so that kids would not eat candy.
They don't know the laxatives in it until after they eat it, dumbass. Haas is
Well,
dying
I
right
guess
now.
the thought behind it would be that like they eat the candy and then they feel bad, then they don't want to eat the candy again.
Yeah, but they're eating the candy already. So they've already got the chocolate in their mouth, and now they're shitting.
It is
Like-
it is incredibly more likely for a relative of a child to try and poison a child with poisoned candy.
right.
It's not your
why?
neighbors.
Because if
Stop
it's the neighbor,
fearing
they're
your
not gonna fear.
neighbors. For God's sake, stop fearing your neighbors.
Most people,
Unless
that do
they have
something like that,
300
they want
AR-15s.
They want to witness the effects of it, and if you're not there to witness the effects of it,
Yeah.
what is the point?
That's the entire point. If you're gonna poison someone, don't you want to see them get poisoned? Like why give out drugs in candies for an event that you're not gonna see?
Right, that
Expensive
edible's not going
drugs.
to kick in for like 45 minutes. So I
It's
mean,
gonna take hella long for us to get your kid high on weed candy, and
Right.
it cost me $13,000.
and they metabolize the shit so quickly.
Also,
that'd
I
be
hear tell
five-
those
5
edibles they don't taste that great. So why would kids want them?
Well,
Well, they already ate it by then.
it's too late now. You ever eat nasty candy as a kid? Shit you knew
No,
you
it's
didn't like,
called,
but it was
it's called candy corn.
You mean Good and Plenty's? Because that shit is gross.
Oh God! Oh shit!
you know what good you know what good and plenty's taste like? The eraser like attachment on a
Oh my God!
good and plenty's and those things.
I'm
they're
with
the
you.
same.
Candy corn's worse though.
Tastes
Candy
like
corn.
despair and resentment.
Tastes like bad
God
decisions.
damn, good and plenty. Good and plenty.
Shame.
That's just false advertising at its apex.
Yeah, Good and Plenty's.
Well, there
are
might be
fucking
one
gross.
thing worse.
No, it's
Black
half false
licorice?
because it's not good, and but there is plenty of it.
Anything
Black
that has
licorice?
Yeah, black licorice sucks ass too.
anything that has anise flavoring as candy is gross.
My mom loves black jelly beans, and I've
Yeah.
never trusted
Oh,
her. I've
it's
never
like
Actually-
eating
trusted
rat
her.
turds.
Bill brought up a point here I was going to bring up. Like the only time that I could ever think of that happening was with the cyanide poisonings from Tylenol in the
Just wanna
80s.
kill somebody.
But that's one instance, and that person was trying to
Was that
you
the
know,
70s or the 80s? Because I
get.
remember
He was
that.
trying to. That person was trying to get back at Tylenol. I think it was because they were an employee there or something. I don't remember the details.
That happened
but,
at the fact that happened at the manufacturing plant, right?
Yeah, I think so because Tylenol was sued.
Yeah.
One of the girls that I went to high school with was actually awarded a couple $1 million over that.
Damn, you should have stayed with her.
I didn't date her in the first place.
That's where you fucked up.
Yeah.
But here's the statistical reality of being poisoned by Halloween candy. You are statistically more likely to get a $20 bill in that candy than you are to get poisoned by it.
I think I'm gonna buy a vending machine.
Yeah.
Why don't they have these same fear-mongering tactics around Easter time when people go to all these Easter egg hunts and stuff?
Yeah, right? Because
Because of
Halloween is not a
That's a
Christian
really, you know
holiday.
what? I've never
Jesus.
It's not
thought
a
of that
Christian
before.
holiday. That's why
I've
it's
never
not a
thought of
Christian
that
holiday.
before.
If you didn't,
That would be the time. That would be the time to poison the fuck out of somebody because nobody issues these warnings around Easter.
No. Haas, you're thinking too small. Those eggs might be IEDs.
That too.
You know, they may set off a tripwire and the whole yard goes
Damn,
up.
I need a fork. I'll give you a sec, son, because I love you.
This
Oh
goes
shit!
all
I thought I was on mute.
You double muted.
this goes all the way back to Halloween not being a Christian holiday.
Talking to
That's
Well, neither-
like 90% of what it is.
Neither is
Except-
Christmas.
Well, Easter
Except
isn't
that-
really Easter is kind of a pagan
Except
holiday.
that
Anyway,
Halloween
Yeah.
is a
Like
Christian
Israel.
holiday because of the fact that they literally injected Christianity into the day after that, and which used to be the actual holiday Lemuria or whatever it's called. And they said, "Oh, we're gonna take this holiday." And then Halloween literally means All Hallows Eve, All Saints Eve.
Yep.
That's literally what Halloween stands for.
Well, that's because what hey, let's get these pagans to convert to Christianity. You know how? Let's mesh and immerse some of their holiday stuff with our
Right.
holiday stuff to kind of grease the skids a little bit.
Right. And
Like
they learn their
Christmas.
lesson with Christmas, because Christmas, and this is something I know a little bit about.
Ooh,
With Christmas, the church tried to just throw away Saturnalia, and there was another one around that time, and they tried to throw it away and just say, "Hey, we're just going to get rid of this, and you're going to do this holiday now," right? There's obviously there was a lot of pagan communities that had winter solstice holidays and stuff like that, and they would do a lot of like feasts. This is where the Christmas tree came from, because in the days of the Germanic tribes, they would bring a Yule log in, like a big, huge log in, and burn it. And it would burn for about 12 days, hence Yuletide, 12 days of Christmas. And while that log would burn, they had a feast during the darkest days of winter. Right. So it was, and they did evergreens, because evergreens were a sign that life is possible through the darkest days of winter. Right.
And if you put them on the fire, it made it smell less like your own shit.
That's probably true too. I didn't hear
Gotta
that.
have that fragrance.
But
throw a couple of sprigs
they
of
learned
holly on that motherfucker.
They learned their
Haggis is
lesson
tearing my stomach
with
up.
the Christian church learned their lesson with Christmas, because it turned out people didn't want to get rid of their traditions. So they said, okay, we'll incorporate your traditions into our holidays.
Read it Dutch.
But now it's our holiday.
Read it Dutch.
They tried to throw away Saturnalia, but it left a ring. Good job. Tons of nice. Well done, sir.
That's a knee slapper.
Yep. But they did the same thing with
he
Halloween,
scores.
right? And do you know that Halloween, interesting fact, Halloween was somewhat popular with trick-or-treating. You know what really blew up trick-or-treating in the United States?
Here we go.
The Charlie Brown cartoon.
Capitalism.
That too. The first Halloween costumes were sold in like the Sears catalog, and they were made of paper, and the kids were literally dying because they would catch on fire. Like they would die because the house would burn, the paper costumes would burn down from all the like jack-o'-lanterns and stuff being lit, and kids' costumes were catching on fire. So that's
damn.
because the first costumes were made of
plastic
paper.
joints I used to wear back in the day too. The plastic rubber joints, you could smell the rubber, and it had danger flammable on the costume. But I want to be fucking Captain America, so fuck that.
All right, so I'm going to amend my original statement. Halloween is a Christian holiday.
Right.
However, it is not a Puritan holiday, which is why America hates it so much.
Fucking Puritans.
Yeah.
It is a Christian Irish holiday.
Oh,
there they go.
There it
And
is.
in the first Halloweens,
There it
did
is.
you know that they carved like a squash into a jack-o'-lantern?
Yeah, because pumpkins weren't a thing.
Right. Pumpkins were
Yeah.
an American thing.
Yeah. So the Puritan Christians in New England, the fucking Lutherans and the Calvinists and all that shit, they were the ones that
Were
hated
you
Halloween.
fact-checking me?
I
Is
was.
that what,
I'm
don't
saying that you're.
fact-check me on holidays. I know my shit.
I'm saying that you're partially right.
I'm 100% right. Everything that I said is 100% true. So
But
fact-check me on anything.
It's
being
basically the Protestants. The Protestants hate Halloween. The Catholics and their sects, they're
can
fine
you
with it.
discern for me, Tim? And I'm not saying this to fight you, but
Yeah.
can you discern for me what the difference is between a Protestant and, like, obviously
Martin
we know
Luther.
that there are theological differences that and things that they believe. But like when
Yeah.
you talk to a Christian person at like Joe's Bible Church, they
I
don't
don't go
follow
to those
Protestant,
places.
but they don't. I can't discern a Protestant from a Lutheran, from a Methodist, from an evangelical.
Those are all
these days.
Protestants.
Here's
They're
how you do that.
interchangeable. They're all
Those are-
right.
Here's
Those are all
exactly how
Protestants.
you do that. Do you
But
say
Catholics aren't Protestant, and they don't like Halloween either.
you
It's
ask
protesting the Catholic Church.
ask what are your feelings of the Pope? How do you feel about the Pope? You will know exactly who is a Protestant at that point.
Yeah, if you're Catholic, you're Catholic, and if you're not Catholic, you're Protestant. That is that's the difference.
Trust me.
Except that
pretty much.
evangelicals don't identify as Protestant anymore. They say that religion is bad.
Just because they want to fucking
So-
change their loopty-doopty shit doesn't change the actual definition. You can't go by what people say. You have to go by what is true.
But Mikey,
They've started another
I
schism,
feel
and schisms are a thing, though.
It doesn't matter about nobody's fucking schism. If you're not a Catholic, you're a Protestant.
Listen, there are sects.
I'm not sure that's true.
hey, it's
There are versions of Christianity that are so far removed from Catholicism that you couldn't even recognize it as Christianity. Like
Right.
you
Is
got
Jehovah's Witness Protestant? No.
no, they're a cult. That's what
Is
they are.
Mormonism
They're
Protestant?
not-
No.
Also a cult.
Like,
They're all a cult.
well, even think about the Mormons. They believe in a different book entirely that what came to being in America.
cult.
Yeah. Well, they believe
So-
in that as being an addendum to the Bible. They don't believe the Bible is wrong. They just believe that John Smith had a
Right, they-
separate
They believe that there was a third testament.
revelation to him.
Yeah.
Protestantism. Any Western Christian who is not an adherent of a Catholic, Anglican, or Eastern Church. Non-Catholics are Protestants.
So then you're a Protestant.
I'm not a Protestant because I don't believe in your fucking religions. I don't do any of this. I don't apply.
But then an evangelical could also say they don't
It has
apply,
to
and that's
be
what they say.
It has to be a religion that doesn't adhere. That's not Catholic, Anglican, or of the Eastern Church, which is like Reformed, like Russian Catholics.
Oh,
Mikey,
the Orthodox Church.
Mikey,
yeah.
I'm just going to tell you something. Walk into a Bible church and ask them if they think they're a religion. They'll tell you that they don't.
It doesn't matter what they think they are. Why do you think I care what idiots say? A lot of people are wrong every day. I don't have time to correct all of them, but I know what a Protestant is. And if they don't know that they're a Protestant, that really sounds like their problem. I can't help them know what the hell they are.
Help me, help you.
I can't tell them, I can't make them learn their history of their own religion. I can't, why would I do that?
that's a different thing though.
If they knew the history of their religion, they would know that they were Protestant.
Yeah.
Do you think that the source that you're looking at, does it include the Church of Latter-day Saints as Protestantism? Because there's nothing the same. There's there's
if
nothing.
You're not Catholic, you're Protestant.
But so if you're qualifier, you're saying if you identify as a Christian, and otherwise you believe, you believe that Christ died on the cross, right? If that's your belief, and you're either a Protestant or a Catholic,
or Orthodox.
Yeah, or I was just going to say
there's
that Orthodoxism is not either of the two.
No, but they don't believe in the Pope either. They have their own Pope.
Right.
They got a whole.
So I don't think it's quite that binary.
And then they have their own branches too. Like there's Greek Orthodox, there's Russian Orthodox. There's a whole bunch of. They're everywhere. There's 10 million different varieties of Christianity.
Right, and it's the same with Muslim. Like there's
all
not you have
branched off
Sunni
for
and
their
you
own.
have Shiite and Shia, but like within that you've got a lot that are just like no, we don't subscribe to either of those. But people want to put them in this Sunni Shia box, and a lot of them don't want to be put in that box, right? And I'm like, I respect that wish, so I can. I kind of am forced to respect everyone's wish.
I don't identify as
But what we're saying that is theologians, people who study the religion and theology, say that there are three sects, main parts of Catholic belief: Protestantism, Orthodox, and Catholic. Those are the three main branches, and then there's a million branches off of those.
All of them.
And if they don't know what they are, that's their fault. That's what Mikey was saying. If they don't know what they are, that's their problem.
Well, that's fine, but like, are we? So if someone says that
you're a Protestant,
they are not a religious person, but am I a Protestant?
Yeah.
No, you're a
fucking. He's not Catholic.
How am I a Protestant?
You're not Catholic and you're not Orthodox.
It's just like saying if you're not Catholic, you're a pagan. Like that's exactly what they're saying. You're not our religion, so you're something else.
Yeah. And Protestants stem from Martin Luther, so Lutherans and all the other denominations that fall under that, and Baptists come from Lutherans and all that. Like it's all the same shit. Like there's just Christianity, and you got your three pillars, and you're in the middle pillar, which is Protestant, because you're not Catholic. Because you're not a Catholic, and you're not part of the Orthodox Church.
But I believe both of them are wrong. So how am I a member of a church that I believe is wrong?
You're not a member of a church. You're a member of a denomination.
Right. It's still you can call that a church.
No, you can't. Denominations are not churches.
Denomination is not a church.
Absolutely can. In fact, they refer to themselves as the church.
He's going to be right.
They refer to themselves as the church.
The church of third person. The church of. Like what's an example?
The evangelical church refers to itself as the church. That's all they say.
But that's a denomination. That's a denomination.
But
Protestant is like
they advertise it as being. I'm telling you what I'm not arguing for them. I am telling you what they do. They say they are not a religion.
Well, they are wrong.
That believing, they say
they're a 501c3
does not make them part of a religion.
Churches,
because there is an active
thing.
Movement.
Religions people like that want to call themselves not a religion so they can get those non-religious people in to pay that money.
You are absolutely correct. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is that they say the sexy thing right now is to say we are not a religion and religion.
But we don't want to talk about the sexy thing.
All we care about is that Christ is the only path to eternal life. That's
then how are you not a religion? Then how are you not a religion?
Right.
That I agree with that statement. I'm just telling you that this is what their argument is.
Mr. Prager, if you could answer the question that was asked.
You said Mr. Prager? Is that what you said?
Yeah. We did a review.
He just pulled the Dennis. He just pulled the Dennis Prager.
No, I did not pull one. I'm telling you what Dennis would do.
You are him.
Informing you of the argument.
He is I am him.
I'm not making the argument. I'm informing you of the argument. Though I do not agree that Mormonism would be considered Protestant. I don't agree with that.
Dutch, that's because you don't know what the definitions are. That's like you just make up words, you make up pronunciations, and everyone's supposed to just go by the stories you tell. Dennis Prager, I'm telling you, bro, it is not. It's like saying you're like, if I say, hey, Dutch, you're an American. You say, no, I'm not. I'm a Californian. I'm like, no, but you live in America. You're like, no, America, no, California is a state, and it's got this, and it's got its constitution. You start pulling. I'm like, it's the same shit. Mira, cabrón, it's the same shit. It's the larger umbrella. Like if you're not part of Catholicism, and you're not part of the Greek Orthodox, the Russian Orthodox, then you fall under Protestantism.
So
That's what it is.
So are you telling me that if I start my own church today with with a unique doctrine that I come up with today based on some obscure reading of the Bible,
Is it based
and
on
I say this is
Catholicism?
I say this is my religion,
Is it
then
based on
I am by
Catholicism?
default a Protestant.
Is
If
it
it's not
based?
based-
Is it based on Christianity?
Let's say that I believe that Christ
Yes or no?
lived, but was not the path to
It doesn't
salvation.
matter. Yes or no?
I just answered you.
No, you didn't. I'm asking a specific question, and you're trying to answer with a question which isn't going to work. Does your made-up religion follow the Bible? Why is it so hard?
Because the answer is not
Stop trying to cut me off. Stop trying to cut me off at the pass.
You're trying to narrow me into a hole.
Yes,
okay?
I'm trying to
So
define terms and answer one question at a time, and you're trying to get around me. Do you think
that's fine? Because I'm super prepared for this. I only studied religion for 20 years. Okay,
good. So then this should be easy.
So are you telling me?
Let me ask.
So are
again,
you telling me
then.
that if I start a religion,
does your new religion use the Holy Bible?
No.
Okay, so then you're not a Christian.
But I believe there was a Jesus.
Then you're something else. I don't know what
You're
you are.
not following Jesus.
Because
you don't even follow his works.
No, I believe.
Yeah,
no,
Muslims-
my religion believes that Jesus Christ was the Son of God and died, but that all of the Bible was written by men and is false.
that's some
Well,
form of
that's
Protestantism.
That's basically the truth, though.
So just acknowledging that Christ makes it Protestantism. But Catholics do that too.
Because that's Christianity.
Catholics do that too.
So Dutch.
But they have a pope.
Dutch, do you
It
understand?
doesn't matter.
The
Pope is a medium to God. He's not God.
Dutch, there's a difference between Baptists.
That's absolutely correct. I absolutely worship Haas.
There's a difference between a Baptist being a Protestant and a Muslim not being a Protestant. Do you get that Christianity is the difference?
Say that one more time for me, please.
A Baptist is a Protestant,
right?
But a Muslim is not a Protestant.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference is that while both are not Catholics, the Baptists believe in Christianity and they read the Bible. The Catholics have a pope and they do their own thing, and they actually have their own Bible. The Baptist
the
Bible,
books, right?
That's not going to be the same. So if you're not using the Catholic Bible and you're not worshiping Allah, but you're using the Holy Bible, you're a Protestant. You follow.
Hold on a second. You don't think Allah is the same God that's in the Hebrew Bible?
I'm not here to answer your questions. I'm here to ask questions.
Oh, that sounds super fair.
Well, you're asking something that is a total distraction instead of answering what I'm saying.
No, it's not, because Islam.
It would make sense to you if you answered the questions, but you keep trying to.
No, what would happen is you would
English on the ball.
What would happen is you'd be taking out all of the nuance of what I'm talking about. There's context
no
there.
Nuance.
Sure, there is.
You didn't even understand that fucking.
Okay, go ahead and lead me down your deductive reasoning. Go ahead, I'll let you do it, and then we'll play the game the other way. Go ahead.
Okay,
I'll start
that's fine.
beginning.
That's fine. If you are a Christian, but you don't believe the Pope holds power over you and he's not your spiritual leader of your church, then you're a Protestant.
Okay, that I would agree with, but that wasn't.
I said that 10 minutes ago.
That's not the religion I described, though.
But the religion you described is not even like, I don't know. There's a lot to make up in a religion, but that's why that.
All right. Here I found it. I found the actual definition of a Protestant versus the actual definition of a Christian of a Catholic.
Break it down.
All right. When it comes to clergy, i.e. the Pope followed by cardinals, archbishops and bishops and priests and monks and deacons, that's all Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to Protestants
in the Christian church, though, too.
When it comes to Protestants, each church has its own head pastor, elders, and deacons. That is the clear difference. The Catholic Church has its own hierarchy. Protestant churches have each individual hierarchy.
Mm-hmm. Well, are you saying that the hierarchy has to be within the building itself, or that because you have the SBC
Within whatever sect of Protestantism you follow has its own hierarchy that is separate from the Catholic Church.
Right. Okay.
Okay. When it comes to practices, all Catholics are expected to participate in the life of a Christian,
right,
and of the Christian Church, but personal prayer and devotions are entirely a matter of personal preference. When it comes to Protestants, all they require is regular study of the Bible, pray, and commune with other believers on Sunday.
I'm not even sure that they would need those three things, because the Catholic Church, you have to, in order to be forgiven of a sin, you have to go through penance. In the Christian Church, there is no penance. It's absolute divine grace.
Don't it look like Dutch got a wave cap on?
So I have neither of those. In my religion, I have neither of those.
Okay.
Do-rag Dutch is out, baby.
Right.
I feel like my man
it does look like a do-rag. It's not a do-rag, but it does look like a do-rag. You are correct.
It look like my boy Napoleon Dynamite.
And here's
Uncle Rico.
When you just said that, Kip. I just realized that hey, I'm doing this for Coolio today. All right. So I'm doing it for Coolio.
Kip Dynamite.
Here's the biggie. The versions of the Bible they follow are different.
Right. The Catholic Bible has 6 additional books, the Deuterocanonical texts.
And the Protestant Bible is usually the King James Bible.
The Deuterocanonical. Well, that's also not.
Sound like something that people put in the toilet.
The Catholic Bible has 6
additional
books. Judith, Tobit. I don't remember the Song of Songs, and 3 others that I can't remember.
They had Psalms the remix.
Yeah, they have the remix.
This is something new. The Psalms Part 2.
It's the DJ Khaled.
We're trying to get funky.
Yeah, they had the Lou Bega version.
Everybody clasp your hands.
And
clap your hands.
and finally, what they believe in regards to the Pope. So the Catholics believe that the founder of the faith was Jesus Christ, and then Peter was the first Pope, and they believe in all the popes after Peter. Protestants believe that Jesus Christ was the founder of the faith, followed by Peter and Paul, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
No other popes after that.
Right.
And eventually, the
weird part is Peter and Paul lived at the same time, so I don't know how they were both pope. I never understood that.
That's what they believe.
G.
So there you go. That is a Protestant. If you believe the things that I said about Protestants, that you are a Protestant.
It's not a bad thing. You're like acting.
Well,
like
I know,
like
but I'm saying that
just like an asshole.
But here's the thing. This is the part that you need to recognize. Just the belief that Jesus Christ lived and died, right, and that he was holy, that does not make one a Christian. Because if that was the case, then Islam would also be Christianity, and it is not. Because Islam also recognizes the virgin birth of Christ and the ascension into heaven. So
right,
but they have extra things.
Well, so does the Book of Mormon, which puts it in the exact same category.
Which is why it's not Christianity, because it has extra things.
That's what I said. The Book of Mormon would not count as Protestant.
I just agreed with you, and then you're telling me that, like, well, man, you're not listening.
Well, no,
fighting.
But if you're agreeing with the fact that the LDS would not be Christianity, then we have no disagreement, because that was my whole point.
We called them a cult. Nobody called them Christians.
Yeah, I said they were a cult.
Me too.
Cult.
Well, they're all cults.
Yep.
Well, there you go. So what are we arguing about?
I think it's good spirited conversation. That's all. I don't want to fight with you.
You like fighting. You came in
not over this, dude. I don't fight with people over fucking religion, dude. But
he's about to have a wave.
But I will
check
talk
on
about. But I will talk about theology and history of religious history, the study of religion and stuff like that, because that's what I study. I did not, for those who are wondering, I did not study theology, not for one day. I took a theology class as part of my degree, but my degree is in religious study. So I studied Shinto, Confucianism, all that type of stuff. So I have a tiny little bit of knowledge about a lot of different shit that doesn't matter.
If you ever have a question about the Bible, ask an atheist.
Oh, atheists know the Bible better than anybody except Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses know it the best.
Well, that's because they don't have
it
cable.
Second best. No, that's the Amish. Jehovah's Witnesses have cable.
They can't watch nothing on cable.
No, that might be true. I dated a girl who was a Jehovah's Witness, and for dating me, they did something to her called disfellowshipping.
Oh yeah.
They shipped this poor girl who at the time was 16, 17 off to fucking Arizona.
Damn.
Just to get her away from me.
That sucks. Arizona sucks.
They sent her where there was more white dudes.
And no grass.
Yeah. Well, she was a black chick.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So
you don't see it in Arizona.
They made a mistake.
There's more vanilla there.
Maybe she'll find a
and
Jehovah's,
especially back then.
Yeah.
There's more black people in Arizona now than
no, dudes. We went
ago.
and HR. HR is making a really strong point. We went from talking about fentanyl to talking about Halloween to talking about religion. Like it's full circle. I don't know how we get the tangent.
You didn't read the comment, but I'll read it anyway. HR says, thanks, HR. And the zombies. The zombies came up with Jesus too. Back to Halloween. Full circle here. Zombie Jesus.
I mean, he
and
was
now
a
back
zombie.
To space. So we started the show 2 hours ago talking about space. Where in space does Jesus live?
Final frontier.
These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
And is Picard actually Mohammed?
It's continuing mission.
No. Jesus was a fictional character, and so was Picard.
Yes. Well, Jesus was not a fictional character, but he's an actual historical character.
If only I had talked to somebody who had written a book about the historicity of Jesus.
So we're gonna talk about Egyptology now.
Most scholars acknowledge the existence of someone of whom the writings of Jesus are based off.
I'm not arguing to you. A little closer.
Hold on, let me be super clear here. I am not arguing to you the divinity of Christ. I am only arguing the existence of a person of whom
there are lots of guys. There are lots of guys named Jesus who are carpenters,
right? Because like Moses was an amalgamation of people. Abraham was an amalgamation. Moses and Abraham both most likely did not exist. They were amalgamations of people. That's not necessarily the case for Jesus. No, Jesus, most scholars will agree with that.
If we go and look at the hieroglyphs and everything, we could talk about how that story was rewritten from.
Oh, I got one for all you guys.
That's true.
All right.
That's true.
Who built the pyramids? The Egyptians or aliens?
Jesus. Gregorio did. Gregorio from Ancient Aliens, the guy with the hair. He was there. He saw it.
I saw this on.
It was the Egyptian aliens.
I don't know if it was
Jenkins. It was them Jenkins Egyptians.
It was.
Wait.
I can't remember.
Was he an alpha?
Most likely.
I don't know if it was.
Hey, guess what? Guess what? If you look at the hieroglyphs, you definitely see the symbol.
I don't know if it was on TikTok or Twitter, but this Mexican comedian had his little stand-up piece on there. Man had me dead to rights. So I'm talking about I woke her up. I couldn't help it. It was so
you gotta definitely
I'll try to do it justice, but mostly he was talking about how like the pyramids in Egypt, nobody know how they got made.
Right.
Funny story. They got pyramids in Mexico.
And they got pyramids in Cahokia.
And that
are bigger and older than the pyramids in Egypt.
And he was like, you know who built the Mexican pyramids? Mexicans. And don't nobody question that shit.
Don't nobody say shit.
Don't nobody say they go to Mexico and they look at that shit and say, yeah, Mexicans built it.
I've been to the pyramids in what's it called? Starts with a T in Mexico.
Temecula? I forget the name.
No, there's two sites. One of them has the really, really big one, and the other one has a lot of smaller ones. I've been to the one with the smaller ones. It's a short name. It starts with a T. I forget.
Mm-hmm.
I have pictures. No, it starts with a T. Does that start with a T?
I don't know. It's Spanish. Who knows?
Wow.
I don't speak Spanish.
It's nearby.
The opinions
near
of Tim
Cancun.
Bristol are not the opinions of the rest of the
It's near Cancun.
leftist late night talk.
But it was a super fascinating.
Teotihuacan, and that's not even Spanish. That's probably Incan or Mayan.
Mayan, yeah.
You know that's how that. This is how you know. This is how you know that
It's
Egyptians were black, because they question who built the pyramids, but they don't question the ones that were built in Mexico.
He said, and who built them pyramids in Mexico?
Tulum is where I was.
And don't nobody say anything.
And don't nobody question that.
Tulum. Tulum.
Them black folks didn't do that shit.
No, they didn't do that. He said nobody denies
But
it.
then you look at the big statues and stuff in Central and South America, you know, with the big wide noses and the big lips and everything. And the fact that in Columbus's writings, he talked about how the Native Americans said, "Oh no, black skinned people have been here for
When
a
is
long
Columbus
time."
Day?
It's
October 10th, right?
There's no such
No,
thing.
no, we need to know when it is, because that's going to be the dig is on Columbus, and it's going to be very unflattering.
Indigenous Peoples Day, I think, is October 10th.
I hear Christopher Columbus was an upstanding gentleman.
I cannot wait to read you guys from the textbook that I have.
I can.
I think it's
literally
October
got
10th.
a picture. It's literally got a picture of Columbus getting off the boat with like the Lord's light shining down on him and stopping to pray, and like all these natives bowing.
That before or after the genocide he committed?
It was immediately after stepping off the boat, so before pre-genocidal picture.
Okay, all right.
Is it Templo?
So the Lord was blessing the genocide to come.
That's exactly correct.
Is it Templo? Is that the one you went to?
Manifest Destiny.
No, Tulum. Tulum.
Oh, the city?
No, that's the Tulum ruins. Is what it's called.
Because people
The
go
Mayan
to Tulum
ruins
all the
at
time
Tulum.
now. Oh shit! What the fuck? Oh, it's still there. Okay, good.
Not to word police you, but I got corrected in Belize. They said, or Costa Maya, because they said it's disrespectful to say ruins, temples is what they like to say. Because you don't want to say that somebody's civilization is in ruins. Just spreading the word, not yelling.
All right, I waited long enough. I have to fix Connecticut's besmirched name here.
Oh yeah, clear your cities. State your name, guys.
This is Tulum.
As he takes over.
Oh, I didn't know that you were sharing. Was you sharing something? I apologize.
I was
yeah, but
sharing
this
something.
is Tulum. This is where I went. So
I was
anyway.
defending my state. Damn it!
All right, go back and defend your state now.
All right. So this fentanyl thing that they said happened in Connecticut. Here's the official Justice Department report from the District of Connecticut, the U.S. State Attorney. It was two men from Maryland who brought those drugs into Connecticut.
I'm trying to
They
get
weren't
Maryland,
Connecticut drugs. All right,
but it happened one time in Maryland, so therefore it's happening everywhere.
Oh, just like DeSantis imported immigrants so he could export them to Martha's Vineyard.
Yo, you know they mad when they sent them dudes first class over to fucking Martha's Vineyard and the hurricane came. And they was like, yo, bro, y'all know you didn't just spend money to send them up there.
These mugs, they went and got immigrants from Texas because there's not a rapid influx of immigrants, undocumented immigrants in Florida. So he had to import some from Texas to send to Martha's Vineyard.
Yep.
So a Texas sheriff is trying to pursue charges against DeSantis.
Yeah. Because it was human trafficking.
That is the fucking definition of human trafficking.
Isn't the irony interesting?
Yeah.
Don't you think? An oxymoron.
It's like it's such a hypocritical.
I'm gonna quit.
And people
Mikey Famine, word police.
People are gonna bounce into the voting booth and vote for this dude.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not gonna bounce in there. They're gonna go in droves.
They're going to swim there.
He's going to win. He's going to win by a lot. DeSantis is going to win by a landslide. He's going to win by 12 to 13 percentage points, which qualifies as a landslide to me in Florida because it's supposed to be a purple state. It's not.
Now let's take a.
I think it is if you count the people who don't vote.
Let's take a poll. Who is surprised? Who would be surprised if that didn't happen?
if what didn't happen.
If it didn't
If-
happen, I'd be
if
very
this-
surprised.
Okay,
If
so
DeSantis lost,
yeah,
I'd be
Yeah,
surprised.
I'd be.
I'd be shocked.
I'd
I
be like,
wouldn't know which way was
"What?"
up.
now that is a very important step, everyone, to lowering the bar. Okay, that's going to be our mantra for the next 12 months. So until next September, I'm going to remind you guys every week, lower the bar. Stop thinking Americans are better than what they are. Because DeSantis is going to win.
That's why I'm getting the fuck out of here.
And that tells you everything you need to know.
Well, you only have to walk like 30 feet to Canada.
I'm not going to Canada. I'm going to Ireland. Fuck.
Well, then walk
fuck
30
North
feet,
America.
the other 30 feet to the ocean and get on your little raft, your little kickboard, and start kicking.
You probably move, like an adult.
I'm going somewhere where they have socialized healthcare.
Ooh.
Yeah, please.
Can you smuggle some of that across the border? Can you send that in a Skittles pack for me, please? Some fucking socialized
I
medicine.
literally found out how much the Irish health insurance costs and how much I'm paying in health insurance currently, and America's healthcare system is fucked up.
It's
You get-
terrible. And
You have
you know
enough
what? And
healthcare for the whole block.
we didn't even mention this, and this will bring it back to fentanyl again, guys. The fentanyl issue, just like most drug addiction, that's a symptom of us not having a good healthcare system. Because if we had an appropriate healthcare system, people could get the care that they need, and they wouldn't have to turn as much to controlled substances.
I'll add to that. It's not just a bad healthcare system; it's a bad criminal justice system as well.
Yep.
That is a, but that also, I would say, my argument to that, Tim, would be that also is something that is exacerbated by not having a good healthcare system.
Well, if we had a system that
helping these people, we harm them more.
Yeah. If we had a criminal justice system that was focused on reforming people who are drug addicts rather than punishing them, then it would be helpful. Like, if we didn't just send them all to jail because they were drug addicts and we sent them to rehab.
Well, we don't now because they're fentanyl. They're suburban kids on fentanyl, so we send them to rehab.
Oh, I know. And some states are working to fix that. But it's not a federal thing that they're trying to fix that. Like the federal Department of Justice isn't fixing that. It's up to the
only
states.
thing that they could do is make it legal federally, and I don't think they're going to do that.
But they could also issue guidance, and they could change laws, and they could change how the Justice Department works so that people who are drug addicts who have nonviolent crimes can just get help instead of go to jail.
Right.
And they could, and the federal government could fund these programs. Hell, you could turn the DEA from a law enforcement agency into a rehab agency, because there are too many cops out there. And I don't know who I saw in the chat was like, abolish the DEA. I wouldn't abolish the DEA. I would just narrow the focus of what they do,
Right.
and give someone else the job of helping people instead of putting them in jail.
Well said.
Because these are not like light drugs. Like, this is heavy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got to get to a pretty dark spot to be like, yeah, give me the heavy shit.
And
So
and you're exactly. And let me just real quick add this.
No, you
For
can have
anybody
the
who's
rest.
watch-
I'm done.
For anybody who's watching this, no, but I think this is super important. For anybody who's watching this and thinks like we're trying to minimize this, we're minimizing the politicization of it. I have no. I'm going to talk to my kids about this, right? Like, we're not saying don't talk to your kids about it. We're saying don't get fearmongering.
Yeah. And I will say, as far as like the politics of it go, all politicians lie about trying to fix it.
Yep.
I've heard Republicans, Democrats, and everything in between saying we're going to fix the opioid crisis.
Yep.
I haven't seen it.
Didn't they talk
They
about it in the Trump
they haven't even-
administration?
They haven't even
Yeah.
decriminalized most opioids.
Yeah.
So that people
I-
can get help instead of just going to jail.
Right.
all they can-
exactly.
All I've seen done is people give a little bit of money for treatment, and Connecticut has retroactively given people like suspended sentences or whatever it was for nonviolent drug crimes. But besides that, I haven't seen anything, and everyone promises we're going to fix it.
Did you see that footage of that bullshit that cop OD'd from being next to the fentanyl?
Yeah, and that's something that more than one cop has tried to do.
Yeah. Oh, so you're saying that story was fake? The one that was in the news a few days ago? They said the cop touched it and got OD and then OD'd.
It's been in the news for years.
This is from this one's from last summer.
Such bullshit.
There was just one a couple of days ago.
Such bullshit.
Here we go.
Boop. Known as Narcan. We do want to warn you, what you're about to see is difficult to watch.
I need Narcan. I got you.
Listen to the music.
Dramatic body cam video.
And Narcan is
Narcan is not for fentanyl.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, you can use it for fentanyl too?
Yeah, you can.
His trainee, Deputy David Five Eye, he's not going to let him die after Five Eye was exposed to fentanyl while
it reminds me of them churches where they throw their jacket on somebody and they fall out.
That discovery caught on Five Eye's own body cam just minutes
such
early.
Bullshit.
So look, this is how close he gets, right? Like this is how close they show it.
Powder. Could be cocaine or fentanyl. It tested positive for fentanyl.
The synthetic opioid.
And then he went and tested it and then immediately fell out. he just like he took it out of the car into the open air, tested it. Whoa.
So you're saying that they found out that this guy was committing fraud?
Oh,
Dude,
multiple police officers have done it.
That's not how fentanyl works.
That's not how you fentanyl.
That's not how you fentanyl.
No.
Deadly consequences.
Yeah.
In his case, the exposure and his reaction
Like
to it was
yeah.
He
was that far
rubber
away.
gloves on.
And it was in the open air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he just just a whiff. And he had to use Narcan to bring him back to life.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
And we're supposed to trust these guys and believe in their incessant altruism when they do shit like this all the time.
H.R. Johnson, yes, I saw that. That was fucking nuts. The fucking
ran over.
Did you guys see that? What he's talking about?
See what?
She.
She. I apologize. She. Did you see the cops left a lady in the back of a parole?
Yes.
car?
Yes.
Horrifying.
That was wild.
Horrifying.
Yes, I did see that. But here, let's see my man.
Hey, but back to Pluto.
This is forgive the very dramatic music. They're not trying to play with your emotions here. But watch my man go down. Watch my man go down.
And he collapsed.
Oh my God.
Great.
Oh my God.
Give that man the Academy Award.
He reverses the effect.
Never mind.
Does he play? Does that guy play for the Pistons?
Best supporting actor in a role.
Yeah. And never mind the fact that when you pass out, most of the times you pass out forward.
No, my man's not even getting a whistle on that flop. Like you're not even the ref saw that coming a mile away.
So was there any head injury?
The ref's like this. The ref's like, come on, get up.
No, he didn't land on his head.
No, he
immediately rolled on his shoulder.
He made sure to roll on his shoulder and not bang his
Count him
head.
out, man. Count the three. He's done. 1, 2, 3.
He's got him pinned. Ding, ding, ding.
Rock bottom. Rock bottom.
In the wrestling world, we call that a work. That is someone trying to fool you.
Look at this fuck man.
That is disgusting, dude. That they would go to that length.
It's propaganda, dude. It's propaganda.
All you gotta do is look in the lower left-hand corner here of the video, and you understand why.
They had the footage available. Everybody conveniently had their dash or their body cams on. You know, the lighting was great.
And guess what? And it was immediately available.
Oh, look how quick. What is it? Oh, well, they chopped it up and edited it. But yeah, he was at the, what's it called? Almost quickly. No throwing up, no frothing of the mouth. Eyes are cleared.
Eyes are clear.
Yeah. But what I'm supposed to believe
nothing coming out of his nose.
So
no seizing, no.
Have they been charged?
No convulsions, no nothing.
So here is the one theory that I believe could be plausible.
Charged
the
with
cop.
what?
Yeah, what is he going to be charged with? Lying? Cops do that all the time.
They pretty much just shot a video. Like they made that video to like
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's how you internally justify it. Like, I'm making this so that kids don't actually try it. They can see how dangerous it is.
I'm trying.
So-
My middle name's
Leave that to
McGruff.
McGruff.
That's
Let
what I'm
McGruff do
saying.
that.
That was his middle name is McGruff.
The only plausible explanation, and maybe this guy did have some sort of incident, like he tested it, saw it was fentanyl, and maybe he thought he could get it by inhaling it or touching it or whatever, and he had a panic attack and he passed out. That is the only plausible explanation.
But he still passed out like a
How
professional.
quick did they get the Narcan?
Less than 5 seconds.
Yeah, they got it in him in like 30 seconds.
That's the thing that's like that doesn't, because like they just had it sitting there.
He didn't even try to revive. He didn't even try to revive
a drug out of a glove box.
He didn't even try to revive him normally.
No,
They
he
all
just
have it
immediately
now.
ran for the Narcan.
Right for the Narcan.
Like, he didn't just like, hey man, hey,
That's a good point.
Hey, are you all right?
hey, piece of shit, motherfucker. Hey, you hear me, bitch? Like, he didn't cuss. He didn't do nothing. He said, oh my goodness, let me get the Narcan.
I need Narcan. I need Narcan.
Yeah, that's what he
good
said.
thing
He's
I left
like,
it right
"I
on
need
top of
Narcan."
Good thing I left it right on top of the
Right on the
top of
dash.
How
You know.
convenient. I was just refilling my Narcans in the
Right.
truck to make sure I had enough in case anybody OD'd on fentanyl. And woo,
Hey, and
Thank
Ramirez over
Jesus.
here. Ramirez passed out, but didn't he fell back in a stupor, but had the presence of mind to hunch and round his back off. He had the presence of mind to do this as he was falling backwards. Because you can see his arms come forward as he falls back.
It's not a good fall.
Now, I've seen people pass out, and guess
he
what?
did.
They
He
don't do
did
that.
raise his arms as he was falling.
Yes, he did.
That's a stage fall.
Yes, and not a very good one.
Hey, he
Not a very good
was
one.
taking a bump. He was
Yeah,
watching
it's Scarlett O'Hara. A Scarlett O'Hara fall.
He's no Chevy Chase. Let's just say
Oh.
that.
Hey, he's no Brett Michaels.
Yeah.
He's no Scott Hall. I'll tell you that
Look,
much.
Oh,
Look,
he's a,
he saw what happened to Larry
You mean
Legend.
Shawn Michaels?
Yeah,
Brett
that's what I
Michaels
mean.
is
No.
from Poison.
yeah. I mean, Brett Michaels too.
Yeah, both of them. They both took.
That's true.
Hey, they both took bumps.
You
They
see
both
Rock
got
of
bumps.
Love?
You know what I mean?
Just different kind of bumps.
Oh man, I used to always like all these women are falling out over this dude
On
that's
Rock of
wearing
Love?
wearing makeup and eyeliner, and obviously has a humongous bald spot with this big wide ass bandana that he refuses to take off.
Look, Brett Michaels. Look, Rock of Love. For those
It
who
was a
haven't watched
funny
it,
ass show. It was a funny
we
ass
should
show.
just fucking do an episode one day and just watch Rock of Love.
I'm not
episodes.
watching that.
But
Mikey,
Flavor of Love came
it is
first,
so-
right? And then they did Rock of Love.
Yeah, Flavor of Love
So
was hilarious.
Flavor
too.
Flavor of Love. It was implied that Flav might have messed around with these girls. Rock of Love, he
Oh, it
had
was
on the
obvious.
roof. He had the waterbed up on the roof, and he was like, "We're spending the night up here with like the 3 finalists on 3 consecutive nights."
Yeah,
So he got laid from all 3 of them that night. And he's like,
Oh.
"All right, you did the best, so you win." Like
Oh,
he didn't even.
reality TV.
There was no shame with Brett Michaels whatsoever.
I'm not watching
No.
that show.
his eyeliner was on point. I'll tell you that much.
I'm not watching that.